going through the Dayton Cincinnati purchase contract revision date May 20th, 2025, sections 5 and 6. That is also found on page 3 of 14 of the contract itself. Of the changes that were brought to the forefront, section 5 had no change. Section 6, they added into the inclusion section something regarding the hot tubs. So what that right here it is on line 114, hot tubs. So in this case, seller has a hot tub on the property. They want to sell the property. The hot tub is included in the sale unless this is marked out or some version or alteration to the contract. Like maybe down here in 6B, you could exclude the hot tub, which would mean the seller is taking that with them. So if no negotiation has taken place, it includes the hot tub and it would stay with the house. So section 5, under appraisal contingencies. So anytime you get a loan, it's contingent upon an appraisal. However, if you're paying cash, it's not necessarily subject to an appraisal unless the buyer puts something in line 96 that states that they want to do a potential appraisal and they have so many days to do so. So let's kind of go through it. So starting in line 91, buyer's obligation to close this transaction is contingent upon the real estate appraising at or above the final sale price of real estate. Buyer has the right to obtain at buyer's expense an independent appraisal performed by an appraiser licensed in Ohio. In the event that real estate does not obtain an appraised value by either buyer's appraiser in connection with the sale, funded by cash or other financing, or lender's appraiser is in connection with finance sale, equal to or greater than the sales price, the buyer shall have the option to terminate this contract by delivering notice to the seller. And all that's saying is in the event that it short appraises, the buyer is going to go back to the seller and they're going to try and negotiate that out. If the parties can't agree to agree, then the remedy would be that the buyer has the right to terminate the contract. Under I in line 96, in the event of the purchase via cash or using cash or other funding source, which was one of the other sources, within blank calendar days beginning the day following acceptance date. So that would be the number of days that you'd be asking for an appraisal to be done. Double I, in the event of conventional FHA, USD, or VA financing, the time frame set forth in section 4D above for obtaining a loan approval, such as applicable time period, being referred to as the appraisal contingency period. If the buyer does not deliver written notice to the seller that the buyer is terminating the contract prior to the expiration of the appraisal contingency period, the buyer's option to terminate this contract due to appraised value shall be deemed waived. And then if that were to happen, then the buyer would have to make concessions to close on the property. Section 6, this is what's included, this is what's excluded from the sale of the property as it sits. So when the buyer walks through the house, there are things that stay with the house, there's things that go with the seller. So we're going to kind of read through those. The real estate shall include the land together with all of its buildings, improvements, its fixtures, and all items affixed or wired to the real estate location thereon, but excluding any items specifically listed in 6B below, and all appurtenant rights, privileges, easements, and fixtures. These shall include, but are not limited to, the following items if they are not located, if they are now located on the real estate in connection therewith. electrical, plumbing, heating, and air conditioning equipment, including window units, bathroom mirrors and fixtures, shades, blinds, awnings, window rods, window/door screens, storm windows and doors, shrubbery and landscaping, affixed mirrors, affixed floor covering, wall to wall, inlaid and steps and stair carpeting, fireplace inserts and grates, fireplace screens and or glass doors, wood stoves, gas logs and starters, television and or sound system mounting brackets, excluding the television and or the sound system, aerials or rotors operating cable boxes and satellite dishes, include non-lease components, affixed humidifiers, water softeners, water purifiers, central vacuuming systems and equipment, doorbells and chimes, garage door openers, operating devices, all affixed surveillance, monitoring, security systems, cameras and affixed systems, operating controls, all affixed furniture and fixtures, all affixed furniture/fixtures, utility and or storage building and structures, in-ground and above-ground swimming pools, hot tubs and equipment, swing sets or play sets, a fixed basketball backboard/pole, propane tank, oil tank, and the contents, electronic underground fencing transmitter for receiving collars and parking spaces, which you would fill in the number and the unit if applicable. The following appliances shall also be included: range, ovens, microwaves, refrigerators, dishwashers, garbage disposals, trash compactors. Notwithstanding the foregoing, any freestanding countertop appliances shall not be included unless specifically delineated in Section 6A. The following items, which are leased, shall be excluded from the sale, and then you would mark the appropriate box. Section 6A are the things that are staying with the house. 6B are the things that are excluded with the house. I highly recommend and encourage that when in doubt, spell out exactly what you mean. Don't rely on sections, this lines 102 through 121. I find that it's really important to spell it out. So for me personally, I believe that if there's a shed on the property, even though it says it in the paragraph, I believe in line or section 6A, you should write shed. If it includes the appliances, I don't want any discrepancies. Fill in the blank with the appliances. It doesn't matter to me that it says it in 117 through 118. At the end of the day, it is far cheaper to write it out than it is to hire an attorney later to make a decision as to who gets what. One of the things that I'm seeing that's highly important is up in lines 109 through 110. It talks about that the television and or sound system mounting brackets stay. That also includes part of the mounting bracket that's on the back of the TV. And I have found that it's important to write that into Section 6A because I have seen sellers who have left the mounting bracket but then didn't leave the component that was installed on the back of the TV, thus rendering the bracket fairly useless. So, long story short, there's a lot of things in here. If you question any of them, when in doubt, disclose it. You can't go wrong. So, and then, of course, if the hot tub is not included, you would write that into 6B. That's it. Thank you.